Good job. All right, we will begin. Page 2. As chair of the Exeter Planning Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. On January 15th, 2021, public notice of this meeting was posted at the town website and on the bulletin board of the town offices at 10 Front Street. As provided in the public notice, the public may access the meeting online and via phone. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during the meeting and who that person is, son, daughter, spouse, which is required, under the right to know law. So we'll start off with, I'm chairman of the Exeter Planning Board this evening, Langdon Plummer, and no one is with me. John, Mr. Gruder.
John Gruder, I am in my office alone.
Okay. Mark?
Mark Detour, alternate, and I am alone.
Okay. Gwen?
Gwen English, and I am alone at the moment.
Robin? Can you turn your mic on, Robin? We're not good at reading lips. Can't hear you.
Okay, Robin Tyner, and it's me and my dog. That's
okay, thank you. Robin. I'm Robin. Aaron.
My space bar is not working. Aaron Brown in the office alone.
If that's all, you're fine. You're well off. Nancy Belanger, excuse me.
Hold on. My space bar wouldn't work either. Nancy Belanger, alternate, and I'm in the room alone.
Pete Cameron.
Pete Cameron, full member, in my office by myself.
And Molly Cowan. Oops.
Molly Cowan, select board rep, and I am by myself.
Pete Steckler.
Hi, Pete Steckler, alternate. I am alone.
And Jen Martell.
Jen Martell, and I'm alone.
And with Dave Sharples, our town planner, please.
Dave Sharples, town planner. I am in the room alone.
Very good. Thank you. I just received a communication that I need to share so that I've got a continuous request for the case number 2021 applicant. That is the applicant is respectfully requests continuation from the 28 January 2021 planning board meeting in the above reference case such that it is taken up by the planning board at its Thursday, 11th February 21 meeting at 7 p.m. So I think what we need is a motion to continue that case, Brian Grissett case, and this till February 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Lang, I had a question first,
yes,
if we could. And it's probably more for Dave, but Dave, I'm wondering, we had, as a board, anticipated possibly having private, non-public session as part of this hearing. Are we able to do that still?
Yes.
So can we continue the hearing and then go into non-public to discuss something, or should we do it after?
Yeah,
the reason I'm asking is more the interest of time than anything else. I mean, we had expected to probably have a fair amount of time dedicated to that case tonight. And I think there are some issues that we need to resolve in non-public session.
Then I would recommend going, based on the agenda tonight, I would recommend, acting on the continuance, going on to the two applications that we have after that, And then after that, if you wish to go into non-public, vote and go into non-public at that time.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate your advice on that. I just thought maybe we could meet Lang. Maybe we can take advantage of some of the time this evening and be more productive when we get them back in front of us too, you know?
Yep. Okay.
Can I just ask, Mr. Chairman, what dates do we have on the agenda for February 11th? Is that?
I have to ask that question of Dave.
This is it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
There was going to be something, but they had a TRC meeting and they're a little bit back to the drawing board, so nothing is scheduled and the deadline is passed, so this would be it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for asking, Glenn. Still looking for motion.
May I, Mr. Chairman, just
Yes, Dave.
be responsive like to the request, because what you read, they did go on after you said, we understand that this meeting will be held virtually, but if the board is to conduct the meeting in public, we ask that this matter, in addition to be continued to the date and time referenced above, be continued to the appropriate physical location for the meeting, presumably the NOAC room of the town office building at 10 Front Street. Presumably, I think that what they seem to be asking is actually have a physical presence, physical location for the meeting, but we are not willing to entertain that as the town. We're not having any meetings in the NOAC room. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what they asked, but that's not something the town is interested in holding meetings in the NOAC room right now.
Thank you for clarifying that, Dave.
Mr. Chair, I can make a motion.
Yes, please, Aaron.
I'd like to make a motion to continue the discussion on the application of the Brian Crissette yield plan, tax map parcel S number 96-15 and number 81-53, planning board case number 20-2 to the regularly scheduled hearing, which will be virtual on February 11th at 7 p.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Then I will call for the vote, please. Aaron, let's start with you.
Aye.
Pete Cameron.
Aye.
Molly Cowan.
Aye.
Gwen English.
Aye.
Jen Martell.
Aye.
John Gruder.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passed. So Brian, we'll see you. Brian was here. Oh, there he is. We'll see you folks on the 11th of February.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda then will be an application of Riverwoods Company at Exeter for a minor site plan review for a proposed construction of a 3,378 square foot addition to the existing administration building and associated site improvements for the property located at 6 White Oak Drive. Subject property is located in the R1 low-density residential zoning district. Tax map parcel number 80-18 and its planning board case number 20-4. Dave, do you have some?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Oh, excuse me.
Pete Cameron, since I live at Riverwoods, I'm going to have to recuse myself. Sorry about that, gang.
Well,
but I would like to be able to come back into the meeting. I would like to listen to what goes on, as I would even if I was stepping down from the bench. I'll mute myself so I can't talk, but I'd like to hear the presentation because people in Riverwoods will ask me about it.
Okay. Well, one thing that dawned on me as you were speaking is that we have got to do the minutes first of January 14th. So I'm going to just hold that for a minute and ask you to look at the minutes of January 14th. That we had two meetings, if you recall, one at 6:30. So I'm looking at the 6:30 minutes first, please. Sorry for the mistake. Anybody have comments on those minutes? If not, someone like to make a motion? They're acceptable as presented.
Also move.
You, Pete Cameron? Yes, okay. Second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments about that? Then let's go ahead and vote. John Gruder,
Yes.
Jen Martell,
Yes.
Gwen English,
Yes.
Molly Cowan,
Yes.
Pete Cameron,
Yes.
Aaron Brown,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Minutes are accepted as presented. Thank you. And we now draw your attention to the minutes of January 14, 2021 of our regular town meeting, planning board meeting, which began at 7 p.m. that evening. Any comments or suggestions, corrections, notes, concerns?
Pete Steckler has his hand up.
Pete, okay, Pete?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So line 172, it refers to Gove Environmental. That may be what they said. I don't recall that, but I think they're talking about Gove, Gove Real Estate. That's what they're.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. So that was one. Line 180, I think, should be 13.7.4.
Yes.
Then I can't say exactly that this is what they said, but line 189, where it says that the driveway would be constructed outside the 100-year floodplain, I think that what they meant was above the 100-year floodplain, because they admitted that the driveway was going to be constructed within the 100-year floodplain. So my suggestion is to change outside to above. So I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Gwen, have you got anything? I see you're frantically looking through your notes. Anyone else? Then I'll look for a motion to accept the minutes of January 14th, 2021 of the regular board meeting to be accepted as corrected.
So
I'll
moved.
make that motion.
Oh, now we got them all.
Go ahead,
Gwen,
John.
Gwen, now you're first. The light on my screen came up under your name. John, you can second it.
I'll second it then.
Thank you.
Ladies
All right.
first.
All right.
John.
Let's vote. Molly Cowan,
Aye.
Gwen English,
Aye.
Jen Martell,
Aye.
John Gruder,
Aye.
Aaron Brown,
Yes.
Pete Cameron,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Those are accepted as corrected. Thank you very much. Now, I accept your stepping down, Pete. Thank you for doing that. You're obviously welcome to sit and watch and be with us for the latter part of the meeting. So let me, I don't know, let's appoint Nancy to fill in this evening for Pete. You have to fill some different kinds of shoes, Nancy. So if you'll act on this case, that would be good. All right, now I'd invited, I guess we should first ask if this case is ready to go from Dave.
My opinion is complete for review purposes.
Okay, someone like to make a motion to begin the clock on this meeting? Or or this case, I should say. Accept the case for presentation.
Well, I can do it. Do I just read the first paragraph? Is that how you open it? I haven't done this yet.
I would just move to accept,
I can just say so moved?
the PB case 20-4.
Well, Dave just said so moved.
Okay.
I tried.
All right.
Second.
Good job. Okay, and there's a second. Thank you, Aaron. All right. Roll call vote. Wouldn't you know? Nancy, we'll start with you.
Yes.
And John Gruder.
Yes.
And Gwen English.
Yes.
And Molly Cowan.
Yes.
And Aaron Brown.
Yes.
And myself. Yes. So now, Dave, that being done, the floor is yours to...
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't think I voted on that.
Oh, Jen, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I vote aye.
You do. Thank you for catching me. So cold, I can't move very fast, you know. Now are we ready to have Dave make his comments in terms of this case? So go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, the applicant is seeking minor site plan review for a just under 3,400 square foot addition to the existing administration building. The applicants submitted the plan and supporting documents back in March of 2020 and revised documents in mid-April 2020, and plans dated stamped in at December 22, 2020 that you have. All those materials were enclosed for your review. The technical review committee meeting was canceled, originally scheduled for March 19th, 2020 due to the pandemic. However, we reviewed it independently by town departments and sent it around to all the members of the technical review committee. We received comments back. Those letters were enclosed for your review in the packet. And we had ample time because Riverwoods decided not to come back when we started meeting virtually again for a little while because they were dealing with their own matters. And we finished our review, and I included a letter from UEI, an email from DPW, and myself. We all have no additional comments at this time. It is a minor site plan, as I said. It's all within the existing footprint of the development, and we have no comments, no further comments on this application. And I did say in the event the board decides to take action on the application, I would be prepared with conditions of approval. I reviewed all our standard conditions of approval, and due to the nature of this and the information we already have on this developed site, such as DWG files and so forth, staff has no conditions to recommend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Who is speaking this evening?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Sari from Altus Engineering in Portsmouth. I'm in my office with my dog.
Thank you.
In the peanut gallery with me, I've got Deb Rydell from Riverwoods, as well as Bob Leitz from Riverwoods. They can speak to anything about Riverwoods itself if you'd like. I also have two architects from AG Architecture. I've got Mike and Russ over there. And I've also got Sharon Summers, the project attorney, to answer any questions of that nature. If you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen.
Please do.
All right.
We're comfortable with that now.
Okay. Here we are in Exeter. Downtown is over here on the right. This is 111 here, Kingston Road, and Riverwoods has three campuses in Exeter. The original is Riverwoods down in this corner here, and then up White Oak Drive we have the Ridge, and then back we have the Boulders, and today we're going to be talking about the Ridge. So zooming in, you can see the campus here. It is home to about 140 residents and 110 staff. and they are in the process of redoing a lot of the interior of the building, a complete refurbishment. It's almost 20 years old now, so it's due for that kind of work. And in going through that, they've realized that they've got a few internal space issues. They've got an admin staff of 7 that works inside the building, and essentially they're in the way. So to make the space flow a little bit better on the interior and to open up more public space, more common space for the residents, the proposal before you is to add a small addition to the building in the back here. Right now, it's occupied by some parking lot. It's actually just a service yard, really, and a storage building, which is underutilized. There's also a little bit of lawn here. So if we look at the proposal itself, we have the generator and the cooling tower, all this little mechanical area, and the addition itself in this area here. It's 3,185 square feet by footprint. It is 1 story. It has plenty of space for all 7 of those admin staff that are in the building now, as well as a conference room, kitchen, bathroom, things of that nature. And it's connected to the existing building by a connector hall here. In concert with that, we're also talking about adding some hardscape improvements. A few patios outside here, a nice grill, double grill in the back for outdoor grilling. This little rectangle here is a fire pit. And in the back here is an area that's going to be shade structures. So it'll be just a framework where in season there can be some sailcloth attached to it to provide shade for anybody hanging out in the back here. And then, of course, a few sidewalks here connecting to the existing sidewalk network. As all these people already work here, there is no new parking demand, and there are no parking spaces proposed here. In terms of drainage, we do have an increase of about 2,200 square feet of impervious surface. So to handle that, we've put, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got an underground drainage system here that does provide for pre-treatment of the runoff as well as detention of it before it discharges to the existing system. We did check. These modifications do not modify our existing alteration of terrain permit. There are also no other state permits that are required for this. Now we have a few architectural perspectives here to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. Here's the fire pit. The only change here is the grill was originally on this side and now it's over here on the right. Here are the shade structures, and this is the addition itself. Again, the grill very prominent. They're very happy about that. This is the view from the other side. This is the view from the interior, which I believe is the dining hall inside the building. The plans here, you got them, just went through it. And then elevations, standard clapboard siding with a few shakes up in the peaks here, a nice hip roof design, lots of windows, and the connector here to the existing building. And here's the floor plan. So that's it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, I or anybody else on the team would be happy to answer them.
Okay. Questions? Anybody have some questions? Okay, Gwen, you have a hand up.
If nobody else has a question, I do have a couple quick ones.
Okay.
Thank you for the overview of this. Much appreciated. Is there a stone drip edge around the entire building?
There is not. Everything is going to be guttered.
Oh.
Yes, on the addition, it will be guttered. The existing building does have drip edge in some places, but we're obviously not touching that.
Okay.
So everything will be guttered, captured, and sent to the drainage system.
Okay. What is the proposal? You're taking out about 13 trees, and those are not small trees. What is your plan for those? And I know you mentioned in your review that you have, and I'm not sure if you were referring to residents or people on staff that had a green thumb, and you're anticipating that they will help with landscaping. But I guess I would like to know a little bit more about your plans in that regard.
Okay. The Green Thumb Committee, that is comprised of Riverwood's residents. And they do a lot of the landscaping around here, obviously not the heavy stuff. But they're the ones that make it look nice, and flowers and planting beds and things like that. It's just a hobby, and Riverwoods does encourage that kind of activity. I have learned, dealing with my own grandmother, you never get between an old lady and her gardening, which is why we did not propose a formal landscaping plan here. But yes, there are a few trees that are coming out. We're going to transplant what we can. And a lot of that's going to be in concert with consulting with the residents themselves to try to find out what they want and where they want it.
So is the plan to put them back in this general area?
In the general area, yes.
All right. If the trees suffer from being dug up and stored for any amount of time, are you planning on putting other trees in just so that they're, I mean, you're covering a lot of that space now with surfaces that aren't friendly for planting, of course, but it would be nice to see some trees put back in if possible.
Yep. If anything that goes in dies, Riverwoods will definitely replace it. I mean, they're not going to suffer a non-aesthetically pleasing campus. So if something looks straggly or is dying, it's coming out and it will be replaced. Okay.
All right. I have a question. The sidewalk width. In one area, and I haven't got the ability to point to it, but I guess it's in the southernmost sidewalk, go up a little more, right there. I think that one's either 5 feet or 4 feet, and then the one coming off of it is a different width. Why are those different widths?
Okay. These two right here are 5-foot sidewalks. Those are primarily for residents. This one here is 4 feet, and that is primarily only for the people who work here or are going to the building themselves from this exterior sidewalk here. So we didn't really need the width here. You're not going to see people passing one another in this little small section.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Entrance. Oh, lighting. Two questions. Lighting, and then the back of the building, which is not, from the way I look at the plans, the back of the building is not where the offices will be. The back of the building looks like that's mainly for bathrooms, maybe kitchen, little kitchen area, or sitting area. Yeah, so the upper part of the project, like electrical, mechanical, though that isn't a place that's going to be used a lot. The back of the building really looks out over like generators and trash compactors. Is there any type of are you doing anything to try to make that a little more pleasant in the back of the building, or is it just going to morph right into that more I will use the word industrial for lack of a better word coming to my mind, but is there anything that will kind of buffer that area from your brand new building?
Well, you were correct in your read here that we've got electrical and mechanical rooms here. This is the kitchen. We've got bathrooms here. This is storage. And then as we get farther away from the industrial area, if that's what you want to call it, we have a conference room here before we get to the offices that go around this outer perimeter. So you're not going to have a lot of spaces inside the building that are going to look out onto the industrial area. That whole area, it's all mechanical works now. There's not a lot we can do to change it, unfortunately. But the idea was to put the offices where people are going to be in their office doing their work, looking out the window, to put them on the side that's facing the aesthetically pleasing section of the site. So it's sort of self-screening, I guess, is the way to look at it.
And probably no space to do much back. I've looked at that.
No, you don't want to do plantings and stuff near generators or chillers or anything like that. It's really just not what we want to do. And you did have a question about lighting.
Exterior lighting?
Yep. We're not going to have any, Walmart style parking lot lights. None of that. Obviously, over every single door, there will be sconces and lighting at the doors per code. And there'll be low level landscape lighting around the patio areas and the sidewalks. And that's just little bollard lights just to provide small area light. So you're not going to have a lot of light cast up into the sky. So
Okay.
gentle, so to speak, not parking lot-esque.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for. Oh, if you do have people, I mean, I don't know who will be using the offices. Are these folks who are apt to deal with people coming from off campus, or I am just curious about the parking, because you really don't. You have a few parking spaces along the road, and then a little bit further away, you do have a small parking lot. But and then across the street, you have a dirt area that was, I don't know, that was put in more recently and was never really approved as a parking lot. It's just a dirt, kind of a pull-out area, and I'm just wondering how those office spaces function, and who comes and goes, and maybe nobody does. Maybe that's all taken care of at Campus Crossing.
That's exactly what it is. These are internal admin positions, so they're not dealing with the general public.
Okay.
Those kind of positions are down at Campus Crossing, which has its own parking lot.
Okay.
So people coming and going will not be doing it here.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Jen, I think you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I only had one, not really a question, but more of a comment, and it's really just to echo what Gwen said about the landscaping. So there are a lot of existing, relatively mature trees. I'm assuming they went in, 20 years ago when this went in. And they're nice trees that are slated to be removed. And so I guess my question is so the applicant stated that the trees would be put back there, but as Gwen noted, there's definitely a lot more impervious surface you can't plant on, and then there's a lot of drainage, pipe and underground infrastructure and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to envision where they're all going to go. And so I guess the question is, I'd like to know how many of those trees are going to be transplanted and placed back onto the site and replaced if they don't survive the transplantation. And I mean, typically I would like to see a planting plan, even if it's going to be done by residents or, under the supervision of residents or something, at least like the basics, where a plant bed is going to go, where the large trees and shrubs and things like that are going to go. So it's a little hard to evaluate in terms of that. But I guess, I'd like to see something kind of in if we move forward with approval and the conditions of approval of how many of those existing trees are going to remain and be replaced if they don't survive the transplant.
Well, for this level of minor site plan, we didn't go into the depth of doing a formal landscaping plan. It just wasn't warranted. But I can just say most of the trees will be transplanted. I don't have the exact count because I don't know how many are coming out right now on this plan. But they're going to go around the perimeter in here and probably in this section here. A lot of that needs to happen in consultation with the residents because it's their home. So that they want to have it the way they want it, essentially. Yeah. If you want to have us take a look at that as a condition and specify specific locations for some of these trees, we can certainly add them to the plan. That's easy, if that would make you feel better about it.
I think it would, just so we have it on record and so that in the future, if we want to look back at it, there'll be a record of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's easy enough.
Okay. Anyone else? You see anybody else, Dave?
John Gruder.
Yeah, I just put my hand up. I guess I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Either for Jen or the applicant, are we really going to transplant 20-year-old trees?
So some of them are probably going to be small enough that they can make it, and if they don't, they will be replaced.
Okay.
So you might not end up with the full-size tree that you have now. That's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I figured. I didn't think you could do it
And
successfully.
that requires a very special shovel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They have them.
They do.
Thank you.
Anybody in the public, Dave?
Well, there are, but there are no hands up. If anyone's in the public wishing to speak on this matter, you can use the raise hand function and we'll call on you. In the meantime, I don't know if Gwen put her hand, never
I
put.
think you got another question, Gwen?
Yeah, I do have another quick question. The
Okay.
two other, you've got the two build outs off the pool area. Those are mechanical?
Yeah, those were mechanical spaces that we originally planned on for an expansion of the pool area. I guess they've had a condensation issue. Those may not be part of the final building permit package because I understand the architect is looking at relocating that equipment to another spot. So they're in the plan now. They were part of the application. We'd like to get them approved just in case, but odds are they're going to go away.
Okay. So those are being put in to try to remedy a problem that exists.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. John, your hand's still up. You got a question or are you all set?
He's all set. He put it down.
Okay.
I'm set. Thank you.
Aaron Brown has a question. Or his hand up.
Mr. Sari, I want to ask you a question about the planting, I guess, just because that's the direction this hearing has gone. So I know that it sounds like there's a process on the campus for dealing with the landscaping and design and probably what's going on. So would a condition of having the same number of trees post-project as you have prior to project work for you?
I think that's perfectly reasonable, Aaron.
Okay, that would be a condition I'd like the board to consider.
Thank you, Aaron.
Gwen has raised her hand again.
Okay, Gwen?
This is a follow-up to Aaron's comment. I think if I counted right, it looks like there are 13 coming out, and I don't think there's room. I don't think you could plant those 13 trees in this particular area once you've put in the fire pit and the sidewalks and the other impervious surfaces. So I don't know if we try to encourage plantings, and I know Riverwoods has done a great job putting in a lot of really nice trees, and they've landscaped very well over the years. And I don't know if you can't put 13 on this particular site without creating an area that's totally shaded, which might not make the residents happy. I don't know if there are other places that you might be able to put those trees.
Well, how about this?
Something to think about, maybe.
Yep, if we can't fit them somewhere in the green space on this plan, we'll find a space on the campus for them.
Okay.
So whatever comes out, we will put back in at some place, some location.
Great.
It works. Yep.
Eric, this is Deb Riddell. I'm the executive director for our Riverwoods Exeter campuses. If I could just throw, and I'm by myself with my dog.
Oh, good.
We have an arboretum committee. We have 3 landscaping garden committees that are all resident driven with our landscaping team. And we will and continue to ensure that the landscaping is beautiful. It may not look exactly like what it does today back there, but it will be beautiful. And we will replace trees. It might not be in that location, as Eric said, but we'll find another place. Our goal is always to have beautiful landscaping, thoughtful landscaping, and to work with the residents.
Well, we thank you for that. Any other questions? If there are no questions,
Mr. Chairman, I just want to chime in. The reason why you didn't see a landscaping plan is because section 6.6.2 of our site plan regulations that lists the requirements for a minor site plan. This is a minor, do not require one. So moving forward, as much as the board might want to see a plan, that they would have to do that because it doesn't require one in these instances in the in our requirements. So the technical review committee would not ask for a landscaping plan in this case. And it doesn't even give some things say if deemed necessary by the town planner, this isn't one of them. So we don't even have discretion on that.
Thank you, Dave.
Are you looking for a motion, Lang?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I was just going to say, if we don't have more questions, our next step is to see if anybody has a motion.
I can make a motion.
I'd appreciate that.
All right. I'm not sure about the wording of that condition, Gwen. I'll try to get it right. So I move that the request of Riverwoods Company at Exeter Planning Board case number 20-4 for minor site plan approval be approved with the following condition: that the same or close to number of trees that are removed for the project be planted on or relatively near the existing plan that we've seen this evening.
Is that okay, Gwen?
Yes. I don't know. Well, yes, that's fine. I was going to say, I don't know that I would even feel compelled to say it on near where they have been removed, as long
You'd
as
rather say on the campus?
On the Riverwoods Ridge campus, I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm confident that the residents care more about their landscaping even than our board does.
Yeah.
So, I'd say somewhere on the campus is fine with me.
They are known for their trees. I know it's important to them. It's a good thing. Thank you, Aaron. That was good.
Okay.
I'll second if we're
All right.
ready for a second.
Well, is that a motion? You were talking about, oh, yes, it was a motion. Yes, thank you.
It was.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Dave, did you have other conditions you wanted to, your standard
No, he
conditions?
said he had none, remember?
You have
he
none.
said he's got
Okay.
everything. He's got a thick
Thank you.
file on this
See,
place.
it's so cold, my head's frozen. All right, so yes, we got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Well, seeing none, then we'll vote. I just got to clear my little desk here. And Jen, let's start with you, just for the heck of it.
Aye.
And John Gruder?
Aye.
And Aaron Brown?
Yes.
Nancy Belanger?
Yes.
Molly Cowan?
Yes.
Gwen English?
Yes.
And I vote yes, and I think I got everybody. So it's a vote. It carries. Motion carries. And let's vote. Thank you very much for bringing your materials in and sharing them and having everybody with us.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Stay warm.
Yes, we will.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. Next on the agenda.
I'll step down now, right, Mr. Chair? And
Would you
Pete's
step
back
down,
on?
please, and have
Yes.
Pete swing back in his chair and pay attention again.
I never left.
Okay, thank you. Great Bridge Property LLC Planning Board Case number 19-19 is other business. Epping Road Tax Map Parcel 55-75. Request for extension of Planning Board conditional approval granted on 1/23/20. Have you got anything on that, Dave?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant submitted the request that was enclosed in your packets dated December 21st, 2020 for an extension of the conditional approval that was granted by the board on January 23rd, 2020. So about a year ago today, for the proposed construction of a multi-use development to include a 4-story building with office space and non-residential uses on the first floor, multifamily residential use 28 units on the upper floors, parking and associated site improvements at 2 Meeting Place Drive. Subject property is 3.22 acres in area and identified as tax map 5575, and it's in the C2 commercial zoning district. And as customary with all applications, I did provide a suggested motion that you can use at your convenience. And I do see that Chris Davies from Great Bridge Properties is an attendee and a panelist here this evening. Oh, there I can.
I'm here.
He has the camera on, and so he's available should the board have any questions.
Seems to me that I remember reading that you were asking for 2 years because of the numerous hurdles.
Lots of hurdles, developing affordable housing. We didn't get funded last year, unfortunately. It was as you know, it was a little bit of a crazy year for everything.
Yes.
So we're going to take another shot at it. And so the way the funding round worked last year was we submitted in fall. You find out if you get your funding in late November, early December, and then it takes us months to close this once we have been awarded the funding. So I've asked for 2 years. So I have the time to do that, again, assuming that we get the funding this year.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Any other questions about that? Concerns? If not, I'd be willing to accept a motion.
Lang, I'd like to discuss the request for a second.
Sure.
I think it's our planning board procedure to do approvals for 1 year. And although I'm empathetic that the applicant would like to avoid seeing us again, and completely understand that, hopefully this process won't be very onerous, and if necessary, he can come back. But I don't recall ever doing a 2-year extension.
Dave, you got any thought on that? And I'm not disagreeing with our.
Yeah, I'm remembering a multi-year, but maybe that wasn't this board. So I don't think anything prohibits it in your regulations from doing it, but that's what I've always known you to do is 1 year at a time. So I think it's up to the board.
Oh, yes. Yep. Just checking.
So, Mr. Davies, is there a chance it would happen within 1 year or just no?
No. And look, if 1 year is all you can do, I'll just come back and do this again and, deal with it that way. So I wasn't trying to have you guys do anything you don't normally do. I was just trying to be realistic with the process that we have to deal with.
We try to consider things individually. Yep.
Is there a cost involved in coming back? It's just a process without a fee? Is that
I'm
right?
not aware of another fee unless you are, Dave.
There is no fee associated with an extension. It's just time to send in the request and the board to act. That's all.
Yeah, 55-cent stamp. It may be more expensive next year.
Most people do it email now, so
okay.
They don't even pay for the stamp.
That's why postage is going up.
Do we know for a fact, is it just we don't normally do this or we're not allowed to do this? Because, it's, it's still time and effort to prepare things and do things. And if it's not required.
Well, Robin, my argument against that would be, why wouldn't every applicant ask for 2 years then? Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to give Mr. Davies 2 years, then why wouldn't we give the next guy down the road 2 years?
Well, how many times do we see people every year?
Aaron, it seems though in this case, because of the financing requirements and the timing of that, that it might make sense so that I think Mr. Davies, you said November for you get the word on the financing?
Correct. Yeah. Again, everything's a little bit in flux right now, but that's typically the timing. It was a little later this past year.
So maybe there's a month or two's worth of time you can save to go right to the project, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not November and December, though.
No.
Okay. I mean, I understand it in this case. I wouldn't want to set a precedent if a year is what we've always done. That's fine, but
yeah,
this kind of makes sense.
Again, if I'm not trying to cause a problem. I live here in town, so this, even if we're back to regular meetings, it's not a problem.
Well, I might suggest, I think it's valid consideration, but these typically don't take as long as this has taken already. So maybe we just go ahead with a 1-year extension and invite Chris back to see him again, see how things are going with the government.
Happy to do it. Yeah, we've coming back, Mr. Davies. We've even granted these without the applicant attending the hearing. So,
yes, yeah.
In fact, I don't recall us denying any. Have we denied any, Pete? Do you remember at all, to Cameron? One.
Some that dragged out.
I think it was like year 8 or something, year 6 or year 8. It was like, okay, enough. The regulations had changed, but generally you don't even discuss the first 1 or 2 extensions.
Right.
Yeah, I'd personally be more comfortable. And as I said, Mr. Davies, I'm empathetic to your situation and appreciate, your understanding our process. So
yep, that's fine.
I'm happy to make a motion with 1 year, with the expectation that we'll see again and give it again.
Well,
Pete?
I think it's important that the applicant show up for one of these things. And Aaron, I think you were kind of going down that road. I know one of the more recent ones we had, we actually asked the applicant to come in.
Right.
Before, in fact, we moved forward on his particular motion. So I think it's a good thing that Mr. Davies, that you showed up.
Yep.
I would compliment you on that.
Well, thank you. It's pretty easy to do this from your living room.
Right.
But I love coming to town hall too, so I'm happy to show up there next year.
Okay.
Let's hope
We'd love to come to the town hall with you.
We'd like to go to town hall too.
So you got a motion, Aaron?
I do. I move that a 1-year extension to the conditional approval granted for the site plan for Great Bridge Properties LLC, Planning Board case number 19-19 be approved. And this approval would now be valid through, what do you want me to use, Dave? Is it
January 23rd, 2022.
1/23/2022.
Very good.
I'll second.
Thank you, Pete. Got the movement and motion in a second. No discussion on the motion. Those in favor will vote in a moment. Okay. Molly Cowan.
Yes.
Gwen English.
Yes.
Pete Cameron.
Yes.
Jen Martell.
Yes.
Aaron Brown.
Yes.
John Gruder.
Yes.
And I vote yes. You're good.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We'd rather not see you because you're successful, but the door is always open.
So, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Dave, did you have any reports or updates we need?
No, not at this time, but to just circle back, the board can go into non-public session if they choose to. If you do, I have the citation for that. And before I do, did everyone get the email that I sent about the Zoom meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if the board would chooses to do so, they can now. If there is a decision to do it, you could move to go into non-public session in accordance with NHRSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, little L, which states consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
Okay. Do you want to discuss whether we'd like to go into?
Yeah, can I just, David, would you mind resending that? I know I accepted it, but I can't find it, so I can just.
You did. You were the one person that accepted
I can't find it, though.
All
Isn't
right.
it crazy? Thank you.
Okay.
And I
then
don't
if-
see it.
think I received it, so I would appreciate getting it again too.
Yeah, I got to
too.
figure out how to resend.
There's three. Okay.
Anyway, I will do that, but just to tell Exeter TV, you listening, Exeter TV, this meeting does not end. It'll just go blank, and then we have to come back to adjourn the regular meeting. So we will be off air for a little while, but after the public session, I don't know how long it'll take. We will be back and signing into this. So please do not end this meeting.
Okay.
Good. Thank you for the affirmative.
So you're going to send us an email with another invite?
I did earlier, and I'm going to try to. How do I do it again now? I don't know if it's resend or I'll figure it out.
Okay.
If,
All right.
you can go ahead and make the motion if you.
Dave,
Okay.
just forward it to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. Yeah,
And then we leave this meeting. It's just that Exeter TV is going to hold it up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Dave will put up another invitation for our.
Got it.
Okay. But we need a motion first. Please.
Does it need to be more formal than I move that we go into non-public session? I don't have anything else written down to read.
yeah. It has to state due to in accordance with NHRSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, little L.
Exactly. Thank you.
I knew you right on the tip of your tongue. We have a motion.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And
So can I point two things out, please, sir?
before
Aaron,
take the vote, yes?
Aaron, thank you. I got your invitation, so everybody check your phones from Aaron. And then John's got his hand up. John Gruder.
Yes, John.
I put it down, sorry.
All right. All right. Okay, well, we got your attention, John. How do you vote?
On yes.
Jen Martell?
Yes.
Gwen English?
Yes.
Molly Cowan?
Yes.
Pete Cameron?
Yes.
Aaron Brown?
Yes.
Lang Plummer, yes. Hey, we're getting better at this. All right. We will leave this meeting.
Just so that we're all clear, you leave this meeting and log into the other one, and then we're in that one. We'll leave that one and log back into this one. So,
All right. See you in the other room.
Thank you.
Hello, Exeter TV. We're back.
Some of us.
Some of us, yeah.
We welcome you back with open arms.
So we're just missing Lang.
Where's our leader?
Aaron, you're in charge now.
I'm ready to adjourn, so.
I'll second that.
If he's lost in cyberspace, who cares, right?
Well, if you want to seal the minutes, you do it. And then adjourn.
All right. I'll make a motion to seal the minutes for the private session.
I'll second that.
Indefinitely seal them?
Indefinitely. Indubitably. Hey, Lang.
Try them.
There he's back.
Hello. Okay. We're back in public session. Go ahead.
Aaron made a motion to seal the minutes from the public session indefinitely.
And has that been seconded?
I thought I had.
Okay. I'm just a little slow. So we'll take a vote. Okay. Aaron Brown.
Yes.
And Pete Cameron.
Yes.
Molly Cowan.
Yes.
Gwen English.
Yes.
Jen Martell.
Yes.
John Gruder.
Yes.
And I vote yes. That's a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. We didn't have any town planner items? No. Okay. Yes, I'll take that. Second?
Second.
Okay. I'll take a voice vote on that one. Or all hands up. Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Good work, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.